Outside, outside. Good morning, everybody. It's time for morning manna, and this morning, let's just take that one word for all of the various meanings that it has in our culture. Outside, outside. When I was growing up, that was the thing. I mean, can you go outside and play? Well, I don't know that that's what we're going to talk about on this morning, but the resonance of it all outside is what we're going to deal with on this morning and greet some people before and just share this morning's manna. How is everybody on this morning? Good morning, Erica. How are you? Good morning, Lenora. How are you? Good morning, Angela. How are you? You're late. I'm holding you accountable because you always want to get on me about Bishop. You were 2 or 3 minutes late. You were 5 minutes late. Okay, all right. Well, whatever. You were late this morning, Angela. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Good morning, Vaughn. How are you? Pamela, how are you? Elder Mobley, how are you? Kimberly, how are you on this morning? Good morning, Dawn. How are you on this morning? Everybody, good morning, Brenda. How are you on this morning? What a wonderful morning it is. We are in the Lord's house in this place that we kind of set aside for our morning devotion. And if it's your first, second, or third time joining us with the morning manna, please let us know who you are and where you are so we can shout you out on this morning. Let me just greet some more folk and then we're going to get right into it on this morning. Good morning, Elder Jan. How are you? Good morning, Ella. How are you? Deacon Joe, how are you? Richard, how are you? Lydia, how are you? Gerald, how are you on this morning? Vicky, how are you? Arlene, how are you? CC, how you doing on this morning? Linda, how are you guys doing on this morning? This morning, outside, outside. What does that mean to you? Cultural word, if you will. Um, what does it mean to you? Put it in the chat area. I want to ask you, what does the word outside mean to you? Let me hear from you. Good morning, Dolores. How are you? Anitha, how are you on this morning? Liz, how are you on this morning? Denise, how are you? Fawn, how are you? Francine, how are you doing on this morning? It's a great morning, and you know what? Because the Lord is here, that means that makes it a good morning. It really does, and I'm glad about it. And I want to ask this question. Good morning, Verena. How are you on this morning? This morning, I want to ask the question: what does it mean to be outside? What does it mean to be outside? We out here. What does that mean? What does that mean? I want to get what you think, and then we're going to jump right into this morning manna on this morning. What does that mean to be outside? You already know it's going to be the text, the talk, the takeaway. Let's jump right into it. 5 minutes or less. Here we go. Here's the text. Here's the text. Hebrews 13 and 13. Let us go forth, therefore, unto him without or outside the camp, bearing his reproach. Can we get outside of the camp? You know, being outside might mean stepping beyond your comfort zone. That's right. Let's go beyond your comfort zone. Let's break free from the safe spaces in your life. Let me just give you more context. Let's go be seen in the places in which you can bring light into those places. For some, outside is about showing up in the world in an often closed, and hope and purpose seems to be just diminishing and gone. But when it comes down to being outside, God calls us to take his light where? Outside, the unfamiliar, where it shines the brightest. When you go outside, let me give you these three things that come from the text that I believe that will really help us when we step outside and when we walk with the Lord. The first thing that it does and what it calls us to is bold moves. Bold moves. That's right. God is calling you to do some bold things. Some bold things. And that can't be done inside, it has to be done outside. Sometimes faith requires us to leave the comfort zone. And real growth happens where? Outside. Outside. Here's the second thing I want you to grab from the text, Hebrews 13 and 13, where it says they're going to go outside of the camp. There's a divine encounter where? Outside. Divine encounters happen when you step outside of your comfort zone, outside of the space that you're most familiar with, outside of those things. God meets us in the most unexpected places. Often, the moment we step outside of your comfort zone, outside of the things that you would normally hold near and dear, and God is calling you, wait a minute, let go of the familiar and move to the unfamiliar where I can deal with you. Here's the third thing. More often than not, when you're outside, your purpose is unleashed. Your purpose is unleashed. Your testimony shines the brightest where it's least expected. You know, there's this military phrase that we have: when you least expect it, you are elected. When you least expect it, you're selected. Because when you step outside, that's when God can do great things in your life. What's your takeaway this morning? Don't be afraid to step outside. That's where God is. Don't be afraid to step outside because that's where God is. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. Share this, man. If it bless you, bless somebody else. Don't keep it to yourself. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more morning manna. It'll begin with Lady D and I having prayer at 7:15. God bless you. Share the manna. Bye now.